Are we live? I think we're live. Welcome to the Worst Golf Podcast. Everybody wants to be the best. We strive to be the worst. When a bad take is necessary, we're going to be here to share it with you. I'm your host, JB, and with me is Morgan. We'll spend most of her time off camera, but she's here to keep me in line with all those buttons. Before we get started, I want to make sure you subscribe to whatever outlet you're watching on. It could be YouTube. If you're following on Twitter, make sure you follow us, Facebook. And if you're listening to the audio show, make sure you subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or wherever you get this, and that you give us a review. The advertisers like that, of course. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We know there's going to be a lot of people joining in. We have a lot to discuss this week. Morgan, are you ready for the show?
I'm ready.
Kicking things off, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Goat Cup, which people who are on our forum may have followed. People who were just viewers or audio listeners may not have. We held an event at the beautiful Ballyhack Golf Club in Roanoke, Virginia, with Callaway Golf the last few days. I just got back yesterday.
Those pictures were so beautiful.
The course is spectacular.
Even in the bad weather.
Yeah, and what's crazy about it is looking at the weather forecast, you and I were talking about this, it was a little unique in what we were planning because we started talking about, like, what are we going to do when we get rained out for the entire trip? And the truth of the matter is we played all the golf we were going to play. We did cut the second 18 to 9 holes, but really we could have played 18. It was really more of a, let's go have some fun with the guys instead of making it all 18.
Oh, and you were telling me that even in the bad weather, there was no cart path only.
No, well, there was, but Ballyhack as a golf course only has cart paths on 5 or 6 holes. So the first day we had cart path only on 5 holes. The second day on 3 holes. It might have been 4. I'm sure somebody will correct me. But it was one of the most unique things because the first hole, Jason Finley's with me, and we have to go get the ball, and he's like, oh my God, if it's going to be like this, we're never going to make it through 18 because the first hole, the cart path goes around this big hill. And for the audio listeners, the hill's probably 20 feet high, and you have to walk through the brush to get down to the fairway. Now, we had 4 caddies with us, and they were kind of giving us our yardages, so you wouldn't go nuts with the people of, I need to run out and get my distance, then run back to the cart, then run back out with clubs, because those people are idiots.
I kind of feel like that could go into a new segment that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we have a new segment called Get Off My Lawn that Morgan will share with everybody. But this case, that's the worst one out of the whole course. Most of them, you're barely off where you would go hit the ball from. So it was just phenomenal that we got all of those in, and the golf was great, and everybody had a great time. But the service at Ballyhack is unlike anything I've said before, and I'll get into the Dormy Network in a little bit. But before going further on the Goat Cup, we want to thank Jason Finley and Austin Tudor, first of all. But before we go any further, a question came up at dinner. Now, we were eating what they call at Ballyhack the Big Beef Experience.
I love that name.
When you were ordering this for everybody, we were just laughing like school kids. And this starts out with some seafood and a cheese and meat tray, and then comes out with, and we should have had the picture to throw up, but you can find it on the forum.
That shrimp looked so good.
It was delicious. And they had a tray of raw oysters, which is pretty much one of the only things in seafood I don't eat.
I knew you weren't going to touch that.
But they had all these steaks and everything you could imagine. It was fantastic with the compound butter on top. But the question came because it relates back to live golf a little bit and the amount of crazy money they're throwing around. And I'm going to preface this by saying this question came to me from Chris Vachal, a friend from Mizuno Golf, who is a vegetarian.
Yes.
And we've planned events with him before, and we always make sure there's something he can eat. And he asked if Liv came to you with the crazy money they're coming to everybody, what would the dollar figure have to be for you to go to vegetarian?
Does it have to be Liv, or where is the money coming?
We're just using them as an example. It's not going to be Saudi money, but let's just say for this case, it is Saudi money.
Okay.
So obviously the number for a lot of people is going to be substantially higher because of where the money comes from.
Right.
But keep in mind, once you take the money, it's lifetime.
Lifetime. So you can never. And then are you full vegetarian where there's no seafood?
Correct.
No
It's not
eggs.
vegan. No, it's not vegan.
Okay.
So eggs,
Eggs are okay.
cheese, those kind of things, milk, and that stuff is fine. But you cannot have meat of any kind.
Ever again.
Yeah.
I think the number for me, I'm going to go high. I'm going to say like 20 million.
And we're going to say, let's not get into the whole how much is coming out in taxes, because that obviously differentiates where you live.
Taxes.
I mean, if you're in California and you get 10 million, I think you get to keep $250. So
you're lucky.
Yeah, there was somebody at the table. His forum name is Buck Nasty, which you can imagine what that's like giving to the concierge to put on the name. But he said he'd do it for $1 million. And at the time, he was literally elbow deep in beef. I said 10 million. And the reason is because I feel like for me to do this, a private chef has to come with it.
Yeah, see, you got to go 20 million. I
So
think 20.
This was the interesting thing.
You got to think about inflation.
Jason Finley said, I think it was either 10 or 20 million. And Austin Tudor said there's no money. Like, he would not consider it. And it's not because he's a ravenous meat eater. It was money will come and go, but you're talking about changing your life and lifestyle every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. For that much money, I'm okay with that.
And Jason responded with, get the hell out of here. If I had a suitcase full of 20 million bucks next to me, you're taking the money. But it is an interesting thought process, because I think the thought of vegetarian is worse than it actually is for somebody like me who's not in love with vegetables. But we're talking cheese pizza, pasta, bean burritos, which I actually love.
Even
nachos,
Yeah, but even like a black bean burger,
that's fine.
Not that bad.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so
I would miss seafood, I think, more than anything, and probably barbecue, because barbecue veggies is just shouldn't even be a thing.
So maybe people on here can tell me, have you had jackfruit? Because people say that jackfruit is supposed to resemble pulled pork if you put barbecue on it.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I've actually had jackfruit. It is quite good, but I kind of going back to Chris Vachal. One of his things about being a vegetarian is he's not really into the whole let's fake it kind of thing. You know, he's not into let me grab an Impossible Burger and things like that. It's not trying to recreate the meals he lost. He just doesn't eat meat. I think I would be that way. I wouldn't try to recreate the cheeseburger in some way, although black bean burgers aren't bad.
Yeah.
I feel like you just go with what you like, and you give me nachos. First of all, I'm going to have diabetes in 10 years because I would be one of those skinny vegetarians with diabetes.
For sure, because you would eat so much pasta.
And candy.
It would be carb on carb on carb. That's always so fascinating about Chris. He's super skinny, but he eats nothing but candy.
He's a pretty active guy. That's and true. High energy and works out a lot. But I see a lot of people here are throwing out numbers, and then there's some that are saying hard pass. I just find the entire conversation much more fascinating than it should have been.
And this is kind of on a tangent, but somebody said that a lot of the bean burritos are cooked in beef fat. And it's a funny thing you say that. So when I was in college, I worked On the Border, and we used to have this group of vegetarians that came in, and they always would ask, are the beans cooked in chicken broth, beef broth? They always would check to see. And we actually made sure that our beans were cooked in vegetable broth so that we had a vegetarian option.
It's funny you say that. So a couple of years ago, we were in Las Vegas, and we drove out to play a course called Cascada. And I was with Danny Lee from US Team EMEA, Chris Vachal, and a couple of THPers. I think Golfers Anonymous was one of them, and G-Man was the other. So if they're tuning in, you remember this story. And we order our breakfast at this tiny little dive diner, and Chris asks that question. Are the beans vegetarian? And the server looks at him straight-faced as can be and said, "Sir, they're beans."
This story is so funny to me.
And it turned out he ordered the beans and he got extremely sick.
Therefore, they were not vegetarian.
They were not vegetarian. And so that was a really good conversation that we had at the Goat Cup that I kind of it dawned on me that we needed to ask THPers this without starting a forum thread and doing all that. But it seems that most people are in the same camp. It's like that $10 or $20 million mark to do this. I'll be honest, we're talking tax-free money. I'd probably do it for a lot less.
I don't know.
I feel like I would. I see one of the comments said pescatarian's the way to go. I could totally do pescatarian.
Oh, you could be a pescatarian today.
I could eat seafood for every single meal and never miss a beat.
For whatever I made last night. You didn't
No,
get
that was awful.
It was delicious.
So going back to the Goat Cup, and I got a question the other day about Dormy Network and us talking about that a lot and our events going there, and are we sponsored by them in some way? And I just want to clear that up. We're not. If they're watching or listening, I'd be happy to be.
Yeah, we're open to it.
Yeah, but we're not. We joined as members just like anybody else would. I went on a trip to Shaft Up to Ballyhack, actually, and Danny, Lee, and US Team Mamiya are members. Now, if you guys can't hear this, we have an interruption going. Arrow is right here.
He's snoring
and he's snoring.
So
you
loud.
can kind of see his ear just pop up, but he is snoring so loud.
It was all I could hear.
But going back to that, I went to Ballyhack and I was blown away by not just the golf course. That part's great.
The goats.
The goats were great. But the level of service and dining and everything that goes with it and the limited amount of golfers and everything that I came back and we tried to make the math work. And no matter how we did, it didn't work. And yet here we are. So we ended up joining, and we have a number of events coming in. We're going to do a number of more going to the different courses, and there's 6 total. They're building a 7th. And it doesn't mean events aren't going to other places. They certainly are. But we talk a lot internally about stay in place, and we prefer a stay in play for our experiences compared to, that beautiful golf course where you're staying maybe 10 minutes away, but you got to drive to everything. And when we do Las Vegas, it's always that way. We'll stay at Caesar's Palace and we drive to wherever course we're playing, whether it's Cascada or Dragon Ridge or one of the other ones. And it's always fine, but people like to have some drinks at the course or different things. And Las Vegas is not a great example, but some of the other ones, I don't want that liability of driving around. I also don't want the people just spending a lot of time at, in the car, in their rental car, in their regular car, whatever it is, when they could be enjoying what we do. And I'll let you kind of go through this and maybe bring it back to full screen. So we talk a lot about stay and play, but why is it important on your end? But how is it difficult to book sometimes?
Well, see, that's the thing, is that while I agree with you that stay and play from the participants' perspective is fantastic, and from the experience, it's fantastic. But from my side of things, it's a freaking nightmare because there's so much like logistical stuff that has to go with it. So people want to come early. They want to stay late. If we're doing rooming, now all of a sudden I have to try to pair up people to come in at the same time, leave at the same time, so that this way, if they're paying for those extra nights, they can split the cost. Then you have, they want to come and play extra rounds, practice rounds, whatever. And just recently, sorry, there's a mouse here and my tablet, and I keep trying to use the mouse on my tablet. It doesn't work. And recently we ran into an issue where the property will only let you play golf if you're staying there. Unfortunately, they're completely booked before and after our event.
You can say what it is. I mean, we have the Morgan Cup coming up.
Yeah. So Old Waverly, we have the Morgan Cup participants. The captains reached out to me. They said, hey, we want to get some extra rooms so that we can come in and we can play some practice rounds. Can't do it. They can't do it. They're completely booked before and after. So now these guys can't play any practice rounds and they can't stay. And it's not like this is a property that's like in some major metropolitan area either. So there's not a whole lot of options for places to stay outside of the property.
I'm going to take it a step further with one of my issues with booking events. And one of the reasons we went to Dormy Network is when we're booking these, we leave no stone unturned. That's a saying, right?
Yeah, that's a saying.
Okay. So we're talking about check-in times, dining for every meal, lodging, golf, whether it's a stay and play or a non-stay and play, the amount of people you have to talk with to get this done. And I'll use PGA National as example. So we talked to a person in the golf division who handles group outings or the head pro, and they set up the courses and the tee times. Then we have to talk to the person in lodging, usually in reservations, to get a room block set up for our guests. Yep. Then dining, It's a different person. And we have to talk to that person. And the best part of all that is none of the three fucking talk to each other.
Not only do they not,
language.
not only do they not talk to each other, but for when we actually book it to when it actually happens.
Yeah, most of those people are already left and we have new people to deal with.
3 times over.
Yeah. I understand the turnover of jobs in golf is no different than the turnover of jobs in the country right now.
Well, in hospitality.
But it is really, really hard. So yes, we joined Dormy Network because they do make it easier.
Well, yes, because now I have one person to talk to.
And to take it a step further, they come with ideas because they know what we're doing.
Exactly.
So, we have a concierge at Ballyhack. We gave him, what we were doing, and it was a small group of 8 people, and we were going to do this, and we want this to be amazing. And he came with the Big Beef Experience, the Virginia barbecue. Let's light up the 18th green at night so the guys can do some night putting. Granted, it rained a little bit. And, everything was done
and
for
that's
us.
Exactly. So that's the other thing too, is that they will help accommodate no matter what size our group is. If we're 4 people, if we're 40 people, they can accommodate it. And then they can say, okay, based off of past experiences, this kind of a meal is really great for our small groups, really nice for like little intimate setting. This one's really great for the larger groups. And they already understand we want something private. I don't have to then talk to a banquet person, then a food and beverage person.
Oh, and don't forget the room rental person.
There's so many people. It's such a pain. So this has definitely made life a lot easier.
I agree. So I'm going to continue on with this event. And on the drive back, I was listening to a different podcast, and they were talking about a person's breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And the story was that somebody was shot at a fitness center. And I actually think it was in Florida, which could have used our weird news from our home state, but it may not have been. And it was the person reached a breaking point over a basketball game, which is kind of funny. And they talked about different sports and things like that, and how golfers are always angry. And I relate to that a little bit, but I'm not really angry on the golf course. I'm lucky to be there. But there were years ago, I remember the last time I've ever slammed a club was with you playing, and I haven't done it since. But there's the club throw, there's the club toss, there's the club drop, there's we talked about it last week. What do you call yourself when you're angry?
Right.
What are people's breaking points on the golf course that make them throw a club? And I'm not talking about the club drop. And are you a thrower of the club? Left hand. What the hell? And or are you the slam? If you're going to throw a club, Don't slam the club.
Oh, the breaking the club over your leg.
Well, most golfers won't do that because they're too cheap.
Who was it, Henrik Stenson, who did that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But which one are you? Because I don't slam the slamming the club always does something to the course. The throwing the club always does something to your club.
Yeah, like if you want to take the clubs and slam them in your bag and you want to let them, hit each other and wreck your clubs, that's on you. But don't slam it into the course and actually hurt the ground.
Yes, I would agree. My favorite moment of the club throw, and I saw one at Ballyhack. I won't call Buck Nasty out for doing it, but he threw his club backwards. He was having a rough go of it for a little bit, and I know he'd put a lot of work into getting to that spot where he felt confident in his game. He threw his club in my favorite moment of after a club throw by everybody. And if J-Dax is listening, he's notorious for this. Not the club throw. The moment after is when they pick up the club, they always look to see if they did any damage.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did I fuck it up? Sorry.
Where's my beep? I gotta get the bleep button.
Yeah,
ready.
You really do need to get the bleep button. But they always do that. If you're so concerned about it, don't throw the club. Hit yourself in the head, smack yourself in the face, call yourself an ass, do whatever you want, but don't throw it.
How do you train that, though? Because it's obviously a knee-jerk reaction.
Just don't do it.
I get that. What I'm saying is sometimes it's just that's just you don't even realize it. It's just the first thing that comes to your mind to do.
So I saw a comment come on the screen. J-Tub said he throws a ball instead. That's brilliant. And in fact, every ball manufacturer would be behind that, especially if you throw it in the water, because then you have to buy more.
Yeah.
But it's like the throw of the club reminds me of the walk of shame that girls did in college.
I don't know what that is.
Of course not. But other girls,
right.
Not the one sitting next to me, other girls, they throw the club, then they make this walk like, oh, not only is it embarrassing, I threw like an idiot.
So,
And then you pick it up and you have to see if it's broken.
so can they blame it on alcohol?
It depends. If you're pouring down White Claws, you can't blame anything on
It's
alcohol.
transfusions now.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started. So you guys heard my rant on transfusions in week 1 or episode 1, and how it's the ultimate bro drink. And Travis Kelce, I'm sure, is a big fan. Of course, the guys were drinking transfusions at the GOAT, and they just had to order them. It's just the way it is. They're awful. You might as well have Kool-Aid with vodka mixed in it. Purple drink. That's what you're drinking.
Oh, is that the Chris Rock thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That still sounds gross, though.
Do you know what's not gross?
What's not gross, Josh?
BarkBox. Everybody loves BarkBox. If you have a dog and aren't using BarkBox, you're missing out. Our dog right here can't have BarkBox. It's unfortunate, but they send treats and things like that, and he has very bad allergies and kidneys and things and can't have treats. But he can have specialty treats, and you're supporting BarkBox means we can get them for him. A box arrives for your dog each month, and if you sign up at www.barkbox.com/THP Golf, you'll get a free month added. They don't raise the price. They don't do anything like that. If you sign up at that URL for any subscription, they'll add a free month to it. And obviously, you want Arrow to be happy and get more treats, so get your dog a BarkBox. Again, it's www.barkbox.com/THP Golf. We kind of went into stay and play ahead of time.
We did.
But I want to talk briefly about the difference between stay and play at a hotel on site, stay and play in cottages, like is what they call them at the Dormy Network clubs,
right?
And stay and play in those condos and townhomes we used to stay in at places like True Blue. Those were horrible, by the way.
They were just so dated.
They're so dated. And when you walk in, I get the fact that a lot of golf trips are about cramming 17 dudes into a room and getting it as cheap as possible. I totally understand that. It's just not me. Well, I don't want 2 twin beds in a bedroom.
Yeah, the twin bed thing was weird. I love the property, but I also found their process of having to go to a different property to pick up your key.
Yeah, that's really rough. It used to be on site, but I guess during the downtime they moved that away. So now you have to drive 5 miles down the road. And if everybody's been to Myrtle Beach, and I'm just using them as an example because there's others like it, the traffic is awful. It's only one road. So you drive down, you go into a hotel to check in and check out. The check-in and check-out process are ridiculous. They're so dated in that process too. And then you get your hard key, like it's not a digital key or anything like that. Yeah. So don't lose that. It's got the plastic thing attached to it, like it's a bathroom key at a gas station. And then you go back, and then the worst thing is, like in my case, last time I was there, the key didn't work.
I remember you texting me. You were
so I call the resort. They have no idea. They call a locksmith. I'm waiting 45 minutes for a locksmith. And the whole thing is just like, it's not for me. Hotel rooms are great. They have full service. I love that part of it. There is nothing like the cottages and the cottage experience at the Dormy Network clubs that I've had. The closest, Abandoned Dunes, similar. They're a little more dated, but similar in that aspect that, you walk in, you have a nice living room. Everybody's got their own bedroom and bathroom. Everything's well taken care of and well appointed, and there's stuff in there for you.
Sorry, I was just thinking Hammock Beach. They also have good ones.
Yeah, Hammock Beach does too. Now, I will say the one thing about Hammock Beach I struggle with is everything is individually owned, which I understand. So everyone is totally different. And the check-in process there is great, but then you have to get back in your car a lot of times and drive to the other entrance to get to your townhome.
But at least they're big. They're spacious.
They are, and they're usually well appointed.
Agreed.
So that's kind of my thing on the cottage part of it. If you get a chance to go to a THP Experience, and I'm not trying to sell them, they're obviously fill up every time we put one out. You'll understand the cottage aspect of it. We have one coming up at TPC Sawgrass with Mizuno, and they're staying right on site at the Marriott, which is, you were just there. It's a great property.
It's beautiful.
And everything is right, where you'd need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some of you guys are tuning in. We said there was a Granddaddy announcement. We went over what the Granddaddy was last week. For those that don't know, it's the greatest golf experience there is. It's all expenses paid to California. You fly into San Diego, you get a nice ride up to Carlsbad, you tour Callaway, you get fit at the Illy Callaway Performance Center. Then in years past, you got on a bus for a couple hours with the entire Callaway marketing team and cruised down to Palm Springs and played this amazing golf course that nobody should ever get to step foot in. Well, we have one spot left for the 2022 team. And that contest is going to kick off on Monday or Tuesday. I don't know which day, but one of those 2 days, we will have a contest where you can enter. It's going to be around the golf ball. We've done a contest on the golf ball in the past, but we're doing one again because I just came from their event and played their golf ball. So we're going to do something on the golf ball, and you're going to get to kind of enter, and you get a chance to win. Now, you notice I said in the past we've played it at a certain course.
Yes.
And that course was the Hideaway.
Yes.
The Hideaway. You know what? Before we go on, can you tell your Hideaway comfort station story?
I think I should go widescreen.
Yeah, probably.
All right. I'm sure people have heard this story, but I'll tell it anyway. So we get to the Hideaway, and how did this happen? I think it was just it was the first comfort station.
It was. Yeah, it was the first comfort station.
The first people had warned us about how amazing the comfort stations were, and to me, I was like, it's a bathroom. I don't get that.
Yeah, and then you go to one at the Hideaway.
It's not a bathroom. So I was with one of the caddies, and we were in over by the comfort station, and I see like all this candy and like all just like.
And Al told you to get as much as you want.
Was it Al?
Yeah, it was Al.
Okay, that's what it was then. So it was Al. So I'm sitting there, I see like, I'm not kidding you guys, like you just open drawers and it's just like, there's just candy. There's like candy and ice cream bars and even
I finally get to look at the comments and these people are, no, new course, no. Just wait.
Yeah, and like chicken salad, like all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so the guy's like, you got a purse? Just like Al said, you got a purse? Just put as much candy as you want in your purse. And I was like, I can't do that. He's like, I pay for it. Do it. I'm like, okay, fine. So I loaded up my purse. I mean, I had Twix, I had Reese's, like you name it. It was Snickers bars. I had it all in there. And then, I don't know, like 3 holes later, I think that's when it was. One of the caddies said he had a headache, and someone said, oh, I think Morgan has Tylenol or whatever in her bag, which I did. And so I said, oh, yeah, no problem. I opened my bag. Freaking candy just comes flying out of my bag. I mean, it is just like pouring out. And I was like, please don't
You look like
me.
a 12-year-old who, instead of dressing up for Halloween, they go as a 12-year-old.
No, I felt like the cops had just busted me from like stealing something from a store. That's what it felt like. So there's my story.
Okay, back to our granddaddy announcement. We had the contest coming up, but obviously people want to know where it's going to be held. Should we tell them?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a little arrow. Little ear.
Oh, yeah, there is this little ear. We're going back to the Hideaway.
That's right.
And it was just secured, and we talked to Jason Finley, and Callaway is excited. The Hideaway is excited. We talked to Al. Jason talked to Al. Everybody's excited about it coming back, and we will be at the Hideaway in 2022. So we have some other things coming on this show.
Yes.
Quite a bit. We're going to go a little long today, obviously.
Yeah.
We don't really have a time frame. Last week it was 30. The week before that it was 45. This one's probably going to be in that range. We got a new segment, Morgan.
We do. I'm
pretty
excited about this segment.
For those that know Morgan, you know this is no surprise. For those that don't, you're going to be surprised how angry she is. And we have a segment called Get Off My Lawn.
Yeah, I came up with this name too, and I was pretty excited about it.
So go to widescreen.
Okay. So I want to preface by saying, if you've ever seen Family Guy, this is kind of where I got the idea from. I don't know if you ever
Whatever grinds your gears.
Yes, exactly. Where Peter has this segment, he's like, you know what really grinds my gears? That Lindsay Lohan. Anyway, that's kind of where it came from. And I was trying to come up with the name, and I came up with Get Off My Lawn. I'm pretty excited about that because I'm that old crotchety lady. Oh, Arrow. Hi. Anyway, I'm the
says buy a BarkBox.
Yeah. I'm the old crotchety lady who's constantly like, get off my lawn. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've actually said that to a couple of kids crossing through our yard once.
I'm pretty sure you
I'm
have.
sure
I'm surprised you weren't out there with a hose.
Yeah. So anyway, all right.
Each week you're going to have one of these.
Yes, each week I'm going to have one of these. And honestly, it's really hard to narrow it down to just one. But I'm going to pick one for today because this happened to me earlier and it really irritated
Before
me.
you give it to them,
Okay.
I should say that when I said, "Do you have your get off my lawn segment ready?" And she said, "No." Oh, crap. I need to think of something. And then she
True.
jotted down like 27 things
I
because so many
did.
things to rant about.
So many. So we'll go with this one today, which probably seems trivial to most people, but this irritates me so much. You sign up for something for whatever reason, you get the email and you're like, I'm done getting these emails.
Like
So,
Bed Bath and Beyond for a
right,
coupon or whatever it is.
exactly. So you just did a little spin. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna unsubscribe, right? You click the unsubscribe button, and then they make you fill out the email address for what you're unsubscribing for. Why?
Is that better or worse than the one that then sends you an email after you unsubscribe to getting emails from them?
Oh, I know you've been unsubscribed. Can't you just put it on the website when it says like click? Then it's like you've successfully unsubscribed. That's all I need.
See, to me, that's not really a rant. That's common sense.
Yeah,
But we've lost a lot of common sense.
Agreed. Then there's another one that's happened recently. I think it's Pottery Barn. I keep trying to unsubscribe from them, but when you click to unsubscribe, it takes me to an email. Like I'm supposed to email them and say, take me off your list. I'm not doing that.
No, that's horrible.
That's stupid.
I will say when you finally get unsubscribed to something, and it seems to happen every year around the holidays for me, I go through like a purge. It is a great feeling.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Because it's so much easier just to delete the email than it is to unsubscribe.
Yes, and I do that for a while, and then finally I'm like, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah. Somebody asked in the comments why Arrow can't have a BarkBox. I explained it earlier, but for those checking in, he's got some kidney issues. He's got a lot of issues. He's 15 years old. Yeah. And he's on dietary food and he can't have any treats or anything like that. And everybody always wants, like the mailman wanted to give him one, the people at the bank. And he just can't have them. So he wants you guys to have them.
He does.
By signing up for BarkBox, because everybody loves BarkBox.
Who doesn't
and
love
if you don't, if you have a dog that chews through toys, they also have SuperChewer. And if you have a dog that has dental issues, they also have Bright. Is it BarkBright? BarkBright. And you just go to superchewer.com/THP Golf. BarkBright is actually barkbox.com/THP Golf, like the regular one is. And you can click on the dental one from there. If you sign up, subscription, any subscription model, you'll get a free month added. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And Arrow wants you to get a BarkBox.
He really does.
Your Get Off My Lawn segment's going to be fun each week because I know you got a lot of them, and I already know which one's coming next week, and it's rant worthy. I feel like you can judge a person based on that. That's all I'll say. We had a contest the last couple of days for a Honma driver, and when we do a contest for a Honma driver, it's important for people to pay attention. You know why, Morgan?
Why?
This was a Beres Black driver, and it's brand new, and it retails for over $1,100. So the winner is going to get one heck of a driver. Are you ready to announce? Or should I announce it?
You should announce it because you know I butcher everyone's name.
I'm going to butcher this name. So the winner of the Honma driver is Colorado MRG.
Which to me says Colorado Manager.
See, I read it as Colorado Merge. We're going to need him to kind of identify what the MRG stands for. It could be his initials.
It could be.
Which would make sense. But I'm going with that it's Merge. Because, you know, he wants to think about my rant a couple weeks ago about how people don't know how to merge on the roads. So, Colorado MRG, you just won a Honma Beres driver. Send Golfer Gal a private message with your full name.
Oh, there it is. He's on.
Oh, what does it say?
It's his high school.
His high school. For those listening, Colorado left a comment in the comment section of the live stream telling us that. Well, you just won. So you're going to send Golfer Gal a private message on the THP forum with your full name and shipping address, what loft you would like, and what flex on the shaft. And we are going to order it for you, and Honma will send it directly to you. Keep in mind, a lot of their shipments are signature required. So when you're doing your address, if you're going to be at an office or not, make sure you put that out there. Speaking of rants, because I was just ranting about merging.
Rants are my favorite. Let's go.
So I have a new one. And a couple of months ago, I put something on social media, and it was about autocorrect. And I said, it's not ducking. It's never been ducking. Nobody's ever written ducking.
Autocorrect is the bane of my existence.
So I was setting up an event coming up in the future that you guys don't know about yet, but you're going to like it. And I type out this thing, but I was typing it out on my phone because I was traveling and my computer was tucked away. And apparently autocorrect thought instead of using golf, despite everything I write being about golf, it was going to change it to gold.
Okay.
Everything from we're going to play gold to we love gold to we're going golding, whatever the hell that means. What the fuck? Sorry, what the heck? The concierge sends me a message back and he said, I have no idea what any of this means.
Oh, come on. Like he's never seen.
That's what I thought. I'm not going to call out this property because I don't want the concierge mad at me, but he had to know. But still, it had written golf or golfing or playing golf about 8 times in the 2 paragraphs, and every one of them was changed to gold.
Okay, so now here's the next question. Do you not proofread?
Not in this case. I was driving.
Yeah.
I was typing with one finger and driving.
Wait, okay. So you're driving. There's so much wrong with this right now.
There's nothing wrong with it other than the autocorrect.
Oh my god.
Everything else, but for what it's worth,
do you guys see what I put up with?
For what it's worth, every single piece of that email was correct except the autocorrect.
So it wasn't though.
It would have been if Apple could figure that crap out.
I can't with you right now. I can't.
I don't know why. That was just heading down a rabbit hole, but I wanted to talk about rabbit holes.
Speaking of rabbit holes.
Yeah, what a segue, huh?
That was actually a really good segue. I think it was our best one yet.
BarkBox. No, I'm just kidding. Do you guys go down YouTube rabbit holes? And what I mean by that is not, hey, look, there's an equipment review of these irons I'm interested in, and then I click on another review, and then I click on another review. I'll paint this picture. I'm sitting in my hotel room, and I was looking up something on Larry Bird. Don't ask. Big fan. And that took me to a Bird versus Magic thing, which obviously, if you were alive in the 80s, which a lot of you guys weren't, scary as that may be, you remember that. It is probably the greatest sports rivalry of all time. Then it took me to more of those. Then it took me to Magic Johnson's HIV announcement, which changed the world. Then it took me to magic tricks. Then it took me to, who was the guy who was frozen for a while?
David Blaine?
David Blaine. Then I found myself watching a David Blaine card trick, and then I was watching some weird magic show thing. And I looked down at the clock, and I'd been doing it for 90 minutes. 90 minutes of going from a Larry Bird thing to some weird card trick.
Mm-hmm.
What rabbit holes, we want to hear from you guys. What rabbit holes do you go down? And we're going to ask you to tell us after the show ends in the comments. So when the show ends, give us your favorite rabbit hole you've gone down. Or I shouldn't even say favorite, most epic rabbit hole. Do you go down them, Morgan?
Oh, I do. I definitely do. But I go down like the stupidest ones because like I end up going down these rabbit holes for like makeup and how to do your hair.
You don't wear makeup.
I know. That's what's so stupid about it. But the thing is, I want to, but I'm almost 40 and I haven't figured it out yet. So I don't think I'm ever going to. But I keep watching the videos thinking that if I watch somebody put on makeup, I'm going to be able to do it. Then same thing with hair. Can't figure that out either. And then,
I mean, you have hair.
I mean, I do have hair, but I don't know how to style it. And same thing with fashion. I'm constantly trying to like learn what's in style, but I really just wear workout clothes. I want to be girly. I really do. Like I'm girly at heart, just not on the outside.
So when you got into golf,
yes,
you bought a bunch of the little cute outfits and everything.
I did, yes.
But people ask all the time, you don't play golf.
No.
Why did you quit?
Because I couldn't find people my age to play with. I couldn't find women my age to play with.
Switch it to full screen, widescreen.
Okay.
You did get to play. I mean, we had women your age to play with, but they were LPGA players, and that can be intimidating, obviously.
You know what's so funny is it was at first, and then it turned out to be one of the more enjoyable golfing experiences because one, they were never judgmental at all. Super complimentary on when I did hit a good shot, and instead of getting mad when I hit a bad shot, or even trying to like, they didn't come out and say like, I'm going to teach you how. They were like, hey, I can show you a thing or two if you want. And they did, and it worked. So it was actually a great experience. Plus, we just had fun. We just talked.
So do you think you'll pick it back up again?
I don't know. You know what the problem is for me is it takes a long time. Like, I don't think that I could spend 4 hours out there. I could do 9 holes, but I don't think that I could play 18.
I get that. We did some when we were in Nashville, we did some playing of 6 or 7 holes at our club,
And
and
that's
you putt while I played tee to green. So
I love that.
yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was genuinely curious, so just jumped off on a tangent because that's what we do here.
It is.
Remember, when the show ends, post your favorite rabbit hole or most epic rabbit hole you've gone down recently in the comments of wherever you're watching, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or the THP forum. We want to hear all of them. I'm probably going to try some of the good ones, so we'll see. Are you ready for weird news from our home state?
I am, and I know I'm supposed to play the music, but I got a little flustered. So
okay, skip the music.
Flustered?
Sure.
Is that the right? I don't think
flustered.
Flustered.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I said, but then no. Okay.
This is a great story.
Right? This is good. Okay. So we got a fun Florida man story for you. And I feel like you're going to have a lot to say about this one.
I know the story, and I definitely have some questions.
Okay. Here we go. The best part about this story, by the way, is it is in our old stomping grounds in Clearwater.
Clearwater.
All right.
Yes. So, why do I get the feeling it's not where we lived?
Well, maybe. I don't know.
It's possible.
It's possible. Who knows? So during a recent argument with his girlfriend, one Florida man threw a cheeseburger. It's already good, right? He threw it so hard at the back of her head that she fell over a curb and onto the ground. The couple was grabbing lunch at a Clearwater, Florida Burger King when they began arguing about the victim not eating her food.
I get that. I get it. But anyway.
Let's see what happens if you throw a burger at me.
I wouldn't be on the next show.
Nope. Cops say the lunch date turned violent when the woman began to leave the Burger King and Hunt, that's the guy who threw the burger.
If his name is Mike, it's the greatest.
I know. I think it's James, though.
Oh.
I know. I wish it was. Launched a cheeseburger at the back of her head, which caused her to fall over a curb and onto the ground. The victim did suffer some abrasions and cuts on her chin and her lip from the fall. This part's my favorite. The criminal complaint states that the cops observed blood on the victim's shirt and shorts and cheese in her hair and shirt. The cheese is the part that makes me laugh.
So I have so many questions.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
It says a Burger King employee also told officers that Hunt struck the victim in the back of her head, but he denies all of that. He is now currently being held at county jail on a $15,000 bond. Real quick, he has 2 other convictions from, I think it was
for
Arkansas.
Cheeseburger throwing?
No, but domestic violence in Arkansas back in like 2002 or something like that.
He's classy.
Yes. All right.
Does he play for the Cleveland Browns?
No, because he wouldn't have hit her then. He would have missed.
Well, Kareem Hunt hit her. Ironically, same last name. Get where I'm going?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes I'm slow.
What? I need to know more about the burger because Burger King burgers are tiny. What? It knocked her over?
Yeah, it was the velocity.
It had to have been a double Whopper with cheese.
Aerodynamic.
It had to have been a double Whopper with cheese.
They didn't specify the type of burger, but obviously he threw it really hard at her.
No, see, something's not adding up. I think there's some fake news going on here.
It's not fake news. It's real.
It had to have been a double.
Jail.
It had to have been a double Whopper with cheese.
Did he even make first?
Because wait.
Did he make a double Whopper?
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Stop it. You're embarrassing yourself.
Who needs a double Whopper? A junior Whopper is more than enough.
You're embarrassing yourself. First of all, I see some of the comments. There's somebody in the Phoenix area making fun of Florida. It's like, have they been outside? You are Florida minus better weather.
Minus the humidity.
What
happened to the pickles?
So a Burger King burger, let's just say a cheeseburger, is like 3 ounces, 4 ounces, maybe if you include the bun.
I don't know.
The double Whopper at least gets you to 6 ounces, maybe 8. Maybe it still had the package on it, so that adds another ounce. I don't know. There's something about this. I'm telling you, there's something fishy here.
Here's what I think. I think he took the portion of the uneaten burger that she didn't eat, which is why he was pissed at her, and chucked it at her.
See, I feel like that should be like the police should have gotten there and said, "Oh, we completely understand."
Yeah, but he wasn't the one bleeding or have cheese in his hair.
Yeah, but she could have tripped.
Well, that's what he's claiming.
Yeah, see,
he's claiming that she tripped.
I'm not saying he's a saint. We all know Kareem Hunt is not.
Well, and he does have past domestic violence.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that he's a saint or that he didn't throw the burger. But I find the whole, maybe she tried to dodge it. This is all allegedly. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be in prison or jail. But maybe she tried to dodge it and tripped over a curb, because we're talking about a cheeseburger that knocks somebody over. If you're small,
yes,
If I threw a cheeseburger at you, you're not falling over. You're going to hit me, but
Yeah, you'd probably fall over.
yeah, you're not going to fall over.
No, but here's what could have happened. Maybe she was already like on her way down, like, she's leaving. She's like, there's a little step down usually to get to the parking lot. So she's kind of walking. He hits her with it. She's startled by it. And so she trips. So it wasn't actually the burger that caused it. It was more the being startled by it.
I'm not sure I buy
I
any
think
of
that's
this.
the most plausible situation right there.
But that is weird news from our home state. Some of you people are in an event we have coming up called the Morgan Cup. And I know we've gone over what the Morgan Cup is in the past, but it's something that's important to us. We do it with Cobra Puma Golf. And last year, Captain Jeremy, JD Talks on our forum, won. And he got to take home the trophy and keep it. It's a trophy that's gone around for a few years. It's been at Cobra headquarters for a number of years. We decided that it was time for a refresh. And I just said eat fresh refresh
I did
in my
too.
head. Now I'm hearing Tony Romo and Charles Barkley. God help me. We decided it was time for a refresh. So we want to share and show off the new trophy.
You ready?
Yeah.
So
small picture.
Yes. And now Josh is putting it on the table here. So I'll switch back in a second. And you can see it's so big it doesn't even fit in the screen.
It doesn't even fit in the screen. It's a little over 3 feet tall. It's got some bright colors. It's got a golfer on the top that you could see in the picture, but you can't see here. And it's quite heavy.
Here, if I go widescreen, you might even, you still can't even see.
Yeah, but it's going to be a great one, and we think it's deserving of the tournament. So, that would have been bad had we had to order another one already.
I was just thinking, and now it's time to order another one.
So the lucky winning captain is going to get to take that with their co-captain, which is either Jose Miraflor or Mike Yagley from Cobra Golf. Wanted to thank everybody for coming, and again, remind you to subscribe, like if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, like the video, make sure you're a follower. The same with Twitter. And if you're following on the forum, appreciate that as well. And again, after this show ends, make sure you leave your comment on the most epic one you've gone through, right?
Yeah, epic.
I mean, we want to hear, it's not the best rabbit hole. We want the most epic rabbit hole you've gone to. How long was it? What did you start with? Where did you end up?
I feel like there's going to be some people that tell us like they went on like a 24-hour rabbit hole.
That would be crazy.
I know. Like gamers.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I bet there's some sort of gamers that have gone down that path, but I have not. Mine's about 90 minutes, and I thought that was nuts, so I wanted to share it. But thank you guys for joining. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.